What is up, everybody? In this video, we are going to talk about how to write a book in 2025 and do it in a way that is so easy that it will take away the overwhelm, get you that book ASAP that you can be super proud of, and that is going to elevate your authority and bring you clients. If you don't know me, my name is Brian Elwood. I have published 3 books, including this one, Get Clients with a Book, that have generated me 400 high-ticket clients for my business, resulting in close to $2 million. In this video, I'm going to go over a 4-step process, as you can see here, that is going to show you the most modern way to write a book in 2025. That's going to basically take a lot of the hard, crappy parts about writing a book away and just leave you to do the fun part and do the finishing touches to write a book that you're super proud of. And it's really going to bring you customers and elevate your brand. You're going to be able to finally get out of the weeds of just sitting in front of the keyboard with the cursor blinking or trying to organize, page after page and make the whole thing make sense. Writing a book is hard. Okay. That's why 97% of people fail to ever finish their books. All that has changed with the introduction of AI writing tools. So I'm going to show you the most progressive way to do this as we sit here today. Also, this is an approach that is going to leave you with a book that's in your voice. So you're like, wow, this literally sounds exactly like I wrote it. But it also properly demonstrates your expertise, and the book contains the right material to actually persuade someone, to actually get them to finish your book and recommend it to their friend because the book was so good, they've got to tell people about it. And then to go and get into your funnels, find out about you, and then take the next step to buying the other products and services that you sell. That is the goal of a book. It should amplify your reputation and not hurt it. And so we want to use AI tools in a way to achieve that end goal. But there is a way to use AI to write your book that ends up with the opposite, right? Where you just have a book that hurts your reputation and people sort of laugh at it after reading 20 pages and chuck it in recycling bin. And they only tell people bad things about it. There's a lot of advice going around about how to just print books with ChatGPT. Have you ever met anyone that actually worked for? No, that doesn't work. So I'm going to show you how to use AI in the areas where it's only going to help you and not hurt you. And in the end, you're going to get the same outcome as if you had written the book yourself, but you're just going to be able to do it way easier because of the powerful tools that we have today. All right. So this process is 4 steps, like I said. And the big one, the one that has changed the game, is the ability to train AI on your content. Okay. So if you are like a YouTuber or a podcaster or a blogger or a newsletter writer, or maybe you just write posts on LinkedIn, you can upload all of that to an AI engine and then get it to learn all that, teach it on your writing style and your brand voice. And then that becomes the origin point of the rest of your book. And then AI can use the sources that you give it in order to help you out tremendously. That's where the game changes. So first, we're going to talk about exactly how do you train AI on your content. Then once you have this supercomputer in place that knows your stuff better than you do, next is we're going to nail the packaging in your book. And that means the book idea itself, right? Because you don't want to write just one more book that's like 1,000 other books that have already been written. There's no point in doing that. You have to make your idea unique and make it stand out. And then I'm going to show you how to use AI to create the initial outline for your book. And finally, to draft the initial. So imagine, you've got an AI supercomputer that's pumping out everything that you need perfectly. Your book is uniquely positioned to show off your set of expertise and to show how it is different from all of your competitors. And then AI can not only give you the outline for your book, but also write the book. And it's the rough draft. Then we go in at the end and we edit it and we enhance it and we add certain stories and we change things because there's going to be little bits where it writes something that you're like, that doesn't sound like me, right? So you go in and make it yours, but you're only coming in and doing the fun part, the finishing touches, versus having to build this whole thing from scratch. Like imagine if there was a robot, there will be one day, that could build a house like 80% of the way there. And then you come in and you put the finishes on and choose the paint and the countertops and you make it pretty and design it and make it yours. Well, that's basically what we have, but in the form of a tool to help you write your book. Okay, so getting into step one here, training AI on your content. The very first thing to do is to go to Notebook.LM. Okay, this is a Google product, and it's the best product that I've found today for helping you write your book. You can upload sources to this. So I could just upload my book, get clients with the book. So I've uploaded my book here. However, I could go and grab transcripts from 10 YouTube videos. I could write all my blog posts. Basically, like where do you have the content that is going to make up your book? A lot of people that want to write a book, thought leaders, coaches, creators, experts, they've already created the content that needs to go in their book somewhere else. They just need to reshape it into a book. And so wherever that content is, that is where you need to go. And if you do not have any content yet, then what you can do is for now, you can skip over this step and then go and just create voice memos. Like once you figure out what goes into your book, you could go on the next 20 walks you take with your dog and literally speak your thoughts about each chapter, future chapter into your voice memos, and then shoot that to your computer, have it transcribed, and then upload each one of those transcriptions as a source here. Okay. And then that will effectively build your library of information that you can then use to write your book. You can just blabber into your phone for hours and hours. And then you can come here and say, outline my book, based upon the sources, and it will. And it'll make sense of everything that you have put into it. Obviously, I just have the manuscript for my book, Get Clients with a Book, uploaded here. So it's probably going to give me the exact outline that's already in the book. But this is what I would do if I did not have any content and I wanted to get this done as soon as possible. As you can see, it is proposed an outline for the book right here. So when I write a book for a client, I literally go and they might tell me I've done 30 YouTube videos that have just gone into my process in detail. It's all in there. I'll just go to YouTube, like this is my channel here, and there is a
My name is Dylan
extension called GLASP, GLASP. You install that, and then you go down here, click this down arrow, and you copy the transcript. And so I have the transcript for my entire video here. And then I just go back to Notebook.LM. I click Add Source, and then I click Copied Text. I will paste this text right here and insert. And now the transcript for this YouTube video is included in the sources. Now, one reason I like Notebook.LM is because it pulls from the sources you give it. Whereas if you ask ChatGPT or Claude, it will pull from the entire internet and it will sometimes make things up. Whereas this only pulls from the sources. And notice like when I asked it to outline my book for me, not only did it do so, but it also gave sources. Like it actually cited the sources as to like where this was. You click on these little numbers right here in the outline, and you can see it shows you exactly where in the source it is, highlights it right here. So this is really cool for like keeping AI in check. So once you've created a Notebook.LM account, you've started a new notebook, and then you have uploaded all of the source material in here in order to pull from for your book, you have done step one. Check that off, okay? Now, step two is about nailing the packaging, okay? Packaging is the concept for your book. By the way, there are AI prompts that will help you with all of this. You can get these AI prompts for free, either by joining my school community, the link will be in the description, and or by grabbing my free book, Get Clients with a Book, at getclientswithabook.com. And this will walk you through in detail exactly how to talk to AI to help you with all of these steps. And in step number 2, you really want to make sure that your book stands out. You don't want to write the 250th book about how to make a green smoothie or something like that. It has just been done so many times before. You've got to figure out what makes your approach to making smoothies unique, and then how can you display that right in the title and the subtitle so that it stands out. The cool thing is when you have all your content uploaded here, you can say, give me 10 book title ideas that are unique and creative and different from what is already out there. This is more important than anything. Like, every online marketer knows about the power of creating a unique mechanism, of having a way to display how your approach is unique and different. And so, it came up with some pretty cool titles here: The Client Magnet Method, Unleash Your Inner Authorpreneur, Beyond the Bestseller, How to Write a Book That Gets You Clients, Not Just Readers. I mean, I like that, right? And that's a unique angle. I don't think there's any books on Amazon that are specifically taking this angle, right? So my book already is packaged in a way that covers this, right? Obviously, I teach this, so I did it. But if I were trying to figure out what is this book going to be about, then this AI could really help me explore different marketing angles that are going to be unique and fresh. At the end of the day, you just want to make sure that when if you're going to check this box off of nailing your packaging, you just want to make sure at the end of the day, when you go on Amazon, that there's not 100 other books that are already written on this exact same thing. All right, now we move on to step number 3, and that is creating the outline. Now, I got to say some things about the outline, because we all know that books need outlines, but man, I made a huge mistake in the early days of writing books for myself and for other people, where I just sort of treated the outline like this just extra step that I had to get through. I just did it really quickly, and then I would dive into writing the book. And then I'd realize when the book was like way in progress that I'd missed a ton of stuff. I'd forgotten complete chapters, and I forgot to, include stories for the chapters, and I forgot to tell the origin story up front, or write a good introduction, or all these like super obvious things. And I had to go back and add those in. And it was super turbulent when you have to go back and edit it. Like, I tell my clients that it is easy to make something simple more complex, but it is hard to make something complex more simple. Another example, Alex Hormozi talks about that in his YouTube videos. 1 pound of pre-production is worth 1 pound of post-production. So the time they spend on the thumbnail and the title and the intro and the outline for the video, that time ends up being exponentially more valuable than anything else. And then they don't have so many mistakes to go back and clean up later, because everything was already thought through, and all the stuff that's supposed to be in the video is there, and it's positioned in a way to get people to click, and they don't have to go back and film a new intro and then try to make the thumbnail after the video is already done. That's not the way to do it for YouTube channels, and it's also not the way to do it for books. Okay. So I want you guys to really take some time on number 3. So you've trained AI on your content. You understand the concept for your book. I want you to really go into depth on the outline. By the way, when you get my book, Get Clients with a Book, which you can get here or inside of my free school community, the book is inside of here as well. It shows you exactly how to do this. In fact, I've got a pre-built outline for you that includes all the chapters that you need to have in your book. So I've made it really easy for you guys to develop your outline, but there's still going to be some nuance, relative to your book and your set of expertise. And the more time you can spend looking at the outline from start to finish and being like, yep, this is exactly the flow of the book that I want. I want to tell this story. Then I want to teach the principles, and then I want to teach the how, and then I want to have a conclusion. And then within the principles section, I think I'm going to have 4 chapters, and they're going to be about this, 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 and this. I definitely didn't leave anything out. And then chapter 1 in the principles section has got this title, and I'm going to teach these 5 bullet points. And then you go through and you go through and you continually expand it. And then from there, you have that raw material to write the chapters. You have the foundation built upon which you can start to fly. You can ask AI to write for you and be like, boom, boom, boom. I mean, you write a whole book in a day, theoretically, but not on the first day. And that is where all these programs steer everybody wrong, is that they're just like, yeah, just go into ChatGPT and say, write me a book. And it just prints out a book. And then you're like, oh, now I need to spend the next 3 months editing this thing and asking ChatGPT to write me different chapters and add in chapters and remove things and add in stories. It ends up being like more work than writing a book before AI was even here, because you didn't know how to do it right. And so it's just like with AI, you can't like I admitted this to one of my colleagues the other day. I was like, I don't even think I'm the world's greatest copywriter by any means, but I'm trying to use AI to write copy for me. However, I don't know if what it produces is good. And I realize that if you don't know what a great output or a great result looks like, then you don't know whether AI is giving you something good or not. If you don't know how to write, if you've never written a book, you're going to look at what ChatGPT gives you and be like, wow. But most of your wow is going to be the fact that it came out so fast and you didn't have to do anything for it. But you realize, like, if you can write a book in one day that you didn't have to do any work for, then everyone else can too. And so pretty soon, if not already, that is going to be completely saturated. And those types of books don't even get close to the level of quality that like a New York Times best-selling book is at today. So it's not going to be competitive. You can't get the same book out of AI. You use AI in order to amplify where you can, like it's going to act as a supercomputer right here, and it's going to learn all your content. Right here, it's going to scrub your content and help you come up with fresh angles. But again, you're already an expert at something. Like AI is not going to make you into an expert, and a book's not going to make you into an expert either. You have to already have credentials. And a lot of people have credentials, but they maybe just haven't studied marketing and unique mechanisms and how to find the way to display their credentials or shows how they are different. AI can help you do that. It can say, hey, you actually have a unique approach by scrubbing all your content. I can tell. And here's what I think we should create as the title and the subtitle of your book to display that. And then here, when you create the outline, you've got to know what makes for a good book. Like, for example, every chapter should have a story in it. Books are often positioned where there's part one and part two. And part one is the how to think. And part two is the what to do. So principles and then action steps. If you just ask ChatGPT to write you a book, it's not going to write it in that way. And so you've got to outline your book in that way. This is the way that all the best-selling nonfiction authors outline their books. It's a really clean format that works well. You look at the table of contents, you're like, oh, cool. Part one teaches me how to think. Part two teaches me what to do. That works every time. It's just an awesome way to structure your book. So you've got to know this, and then you ask AI to help you do it. So I hope that rant sort of makes sense about where AI does and does not fit in. And the better AI gets, then you're just going to be able to elevate to that next level and always be able to use AI, but then use your own input to make your book better than everyone else that's just using AI at AI's highest level without any of their own human touch. Okay. So there's not going to become a day where every book is the same and it's just push button, get book, right? The quality is just going to go up. The expectation is going to go up, just like the expectation of a worker has gone up because they now have supercomputers at their fingertips. Okay. So productivity expectations are higher because people have AI, and the expectation of a book is going to be higher overall. This is not about leaning out and being like, what's the lazy way for me to get a book? It's actually about leaning in and saying, how can I make this the best book that is ever written on this topic? And I'm going to use AI to actually get me there in a faster, more predictable way, not to be lazy and to take tons of work off my plate. Okay. So I'm a big believer in books, but they should be your life's work, not just something that you print in 10 minutes because you hope it's going to, make you look credible and get you clients. All right. That rant probably lost me some viewers because you're not supposed to be ranting about stuff like that. You're supposed to stay on topic, but I really believe that needed to be in here so that we could understand how to think about this. So you've trained AI on your content. You have used it to properly position yourself in the market. And then now you've come into Notebook.LM and you've said, give me the outline. Okay. And it gave me the outline earlier when I asked for that cue up here. Now, what I can do is I can go to a section of the outline, define your tangible outcome. And look, it's already got the sub outline here, like these bullet points. What I do is I go and open a Google Doc at this point. So I'll click new Google Doc, and then I would title this, your book. And what's cool is Google has this tab feature now where you can organize your book all in one doc. So I would have a chapter called Your Tangible Outcome. And then I would have these all be bullets, and I would go through this and I would make sure that everything I want to say in this chapter is here. Okay. Once it is, like, let's just assume for the example's sake that this is good. Now I can go back to Google LM and I can say, write me the chapter. And it's actually going to draft the initial book chapter. And now what I would probably do is I would say, go into more detail because it was a little short. I like longer chapters. And then it's going to give me a more detailed version. Now, last step is I will go to Claude. Now, Claude is really cool because it can be trained on your voice. Like if you click choose style and I choose Brian, I can write in my own voice. If I wanted to create a new style, I would create a custom one. I would upload writing examples right here and then put it in my name and it remembers. And now I'm going to say rewrite this in my style. And I'm going to paste what Google LM already wrote me because Claude is a better writer than LM. LM's like, think of it as your data hub, your data production hub. And then Claude is going to be what makes it beautiful and flowery and pretty. Okay. So this is what Claude is now producing, a much better written book than what LM came up with. And so what I would do is I would then take this and copy paste it into Google Docs and I will edit it from there. And there is more nuance to this that I go over in my book and in my school group. But, it's around like the idea of adding more stories to your book. And so if you upload material, source material in LM that has your stories, then you can say, include stories in my chapters or in my outlines. And that's going to save you more time. One thing you'll learn when you dig into my content is that your book should have a balance of about 50-50 right brain and left brain content. Right brain is stories, left brain is teaching. Think about your favorite Netflix shows. It's all about story, right? We're much more interested in story. We absorb story more. And so you definitely want to make sure that your outlines, or at least your chapters when you're done, include story, whether you get Claude to include it or you go back and write it later. So now look what we've got. We've got the outline and we have the rough draft of the chapter. From here, like if you're getting good outputs from Claude on your chapter, then you could write the rest of your book in one day. You could just go and tell, LM to give you the next chapter and the next chapter and the next chapter, and then have Claude rewrite it for you. And now you've got a book that is written in your voice and that is derived from just your content. So this is things you've already said. It's just shaping it into better format for a book. And you can then go in and clean this up. And this is a very high level, quick overview of the best way to write a book in 2025 using the AI tools that we have available to us today, but also not overdoing it to where the book still ends up in your voice. It comes to your content. It's actually going to elevate your authority, and bring you customers and clients, unlike so many of the books that get published by experts out there that end up doing nothing for their business. By the way, if you think this LM and Claude workflow is cool, you're definitely going to want to check out this video here, which I will link up in the top corner, about how the AI is quietly taking over the expert industry. This is going to show you the broader use cases of AI to not just write a book, but also to help you create a ton of content that grows your personal brand and promotes your book, but also does it in your own voice and follows the best practices for each platform. Appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time.